Required minimum distributions, RMDs. Most of us don't think about this until it's right on our doorstep. And it's pretty important that we get ahead of it so it doesn't blow a complete hole in our retirement plans, because it can have some really unintended consequences if we don't do it correctly. So when we're going to talk about RMDs, first, what is a required minimum distribution? Most of us through our working lives have built up an IRA account, a 401k account, what's called qualified money. This is pre-tax money that we have set aside. It's been the goal for it to replace Social Security someday, but for right now we have both of them. But with our 401k and our IRA, it has not yet been taxed. And we need to understand at some point it will be taxed, and it can be taxed quite a lot. And a lot of times it surprises people because they don't really think of it that way. They think if they've built up $1 million in their 401k account, they have $1 million, where they really don't. They may only have $700,000 of actual money. So we need to, again, get ahead of this so that we understand exactly what's going to happen. And you see a lot of talk, especially when we're starting to think about this kind of stuff, on should you convert from a pre-tax account to an after-tax account, to a Roth account. And sometimes yes, sometimes no, but I'm gonna show you a good way to do that, and that will make a lot of sense. To me personally, I wanna get away from that pre-tax stuff. I don't like having the taxes held over my head, and then come time for required minimum distribution, being forced to take money out really just to be able to pay the taxes on it. That's what's happening. The government finally wants their money. They're gonna make us remove money from our qualified account, pay income taxes on it, and then it can have ramifications on many other things. So when we're talking about RMDs, first off, when do you need to start doing it? If you were born before 1960, your required minimum distributions will start at age 73. If you're born after 1960, they will start at age 75. And then to figure out exactly how much we're going to have to take out, it's based on a uniform lifetime table. So it's a chart that they've put together, and I'm not sure where this comes out with, because it runs your lifetime up to almost 100 years old. I wouldn't think that's the standard lifetime expectancy, but that's what they're going to work off of. So at age 73, that number is 26.5. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the totality of your individual retirement account, your 401k, add it all together, whatever pre-tax money you have, divide it by 26.5. That is the amount that you're going to have to take out, withdraw from your qualified account, and pay taxes on it. And it can be a significant amount. So let's assume that you have $1 million. And I've had people come to me with $1 million in their account, $2 million. I've had people come to me with as much as $6 million in a pre-tax account that they're now going to have to pay taxes on. So if you have $1 million in your account and you divide it by 26.5, it's going to come to almost $38,000. So you're going to be forced, whether you need this money or you don't need this money, you're going to be forced to withdraw $38,000, pay taxes on it, and then do whatever else you have to do with the rest of it. Now, where does this come in to be problematic? And I did a video recently talking about tax brackets, talking about Medicare IRMAA. These are the main things that are going to play a part in this, where you have different levels for different things and will cost you more if you bump into that next level. And taking an RMD may absolutely cause you to bump into that next level. So it's based on this chart, which I've made, and make sure you look for my video on this. It's very important that you understand these brackets, particularly the Medicare stuff. The Medicare stuff, your premium for your Medicare Part B can quadruple based on what taxable income you have during any given year. And that given year for Medicare is 2 years ago. So they have a 2-year look back window, because that's all they can see. They can't see what you're doing right now. They have to look back 2 years. So Medicare can be a real surprise. If your premium goes from $185 up to more than $600 for your Medicare Part B, it can be significantly life-altering for what you're doing in your retirement. So you can see on that uniform lifetime table, your payments are going to go every year, starting at either 73 if you're born before 1960 or 75 after 1960. And you need to, again, get a handle on it so you can see it. So the question comes back to conversion. Should you convert from a 401k IRA into a Roth? My opinion, you absolutely should do at least partial conversion. You don't have to necessarily do full conversion, although that's not always a bad idea either. You will hear people say yes, no, maybe so. Yes, 5 different people, you will get 5 different answers on whether you convert. At the end of the day, if you took the same amount of money, you put it in a pre-tax account, and you put it also in a Roth account, so you got less money going in the Roth because your tax money is going in with your money into the qualified account, and you let them ride for 10 years, it comes out to be about the same when you take it out, because the Roth money you're going to take out tax-free. The IRA money you're going to take out and have to pay income tax on it. So it's almost a coin flip when you're considering converting. And to me, I like to control my own stuff. I don't like the government telling me what to do and how to do it and when I have to pay taxes, God forbid. The other scenario is if you're a high earner and you are already in the 37% tax bracket, no matter what, and you're going to continue to be a high earner. A lot of us own businesses and have income that's not going to stop going into our 60s or 70s. We're going to continue to be high earners. That 37% tax bracket, while it's high and it's painful, in reality, it's about as low as it's been in a very long time. And the odds of it ever getting lower than that are pretty slim. But the odds of it getting higher than that are much more likely. We don't know what the future will hold. We did just lock in this stuff during this current political term, but we all know politics change on a dime. And with the amount of debt that the country has and the programs, Medicare and Social Security, that are all floundering and having financial difficulties, sooner or later, Uncle Sam's going to come knocking on the door and say, we need some more money. And so I would certainly think that that 37 top tax bracket would likely have a much better chance of going up than it does going down. And if that's the case, I'm going to go ahead and pay my taxes now before it does. And that way just get it into an account where it's then under my control, tax-free. I'm going to do a video coming up very shortly. It may already be out if you're watching this one a little bit late, but a video showing you how to do a Roth conversion. So taking your qualified money, getting it into a tax-free account without a whole lot of pain, without a whole lot of taxes out of your pocket. We're going to let somebody else pay the taxes on this conversion. It's very interesting. It's exciting. I like it a lot. I will show it to you very shortly on how to accomplish that. But it just takes your stuff from this bucket into that bucket, from the bucket that you pay taxes on to the bucket that you don't pay any taxes on, and then you know exactly what you have from a financial standpoint. So this gives you some idea on these required minimum distributions. Last point on this, if you don't do your RMD or you miss your RMD, the penalty can be severe. So the penalty can be as much as 25%. So if you were supposed to take out 40 grand and you didn't, you're going to pay taxes when you do, plus possibly an additional 25%. That's absolutely crazy to think about, and stuff you don't want to be worried about when you're in your retirement days. So again, my goal is to get out of taxable money into non-taxable money, and that way I don't have to worry about anything. Don't have any RMDs, don't have any taxes. Any growth going forward is all tax-free. Just makes life so much simpler. But I'll have that video coming up shortly. Make sure you watch the video where I talk about tax brackets and IRMAA, because that's how you're going to have to play this game. You have to fit stuff in. If you are going to convert, you have to fit it into these brackets each year so that you don't jump into the next one and have a consequence. So I hope you found all this helpful. I'm happy to help with all of it. Have a fantastic day.